Imperial in terms of what it brings in terms of value addition. These interactions, I see a number of industry guest lectures being planned, the case studies. So there is significant investment in these students, and there is a lot of thought.
Hello everyone, I am CA Ishika Khandelwal, a faculty at Imperial School, and welcome to the next episode of our podcast series. Today we have a very special guest with us who has helped many global companies turn data into decisions. So if you are a beginner or even a person who wants to change his career in FP&A, then this podcast is for you. I'm thrilled to welcome Purvik Shroff, currently the Vice President of FP&A for North America at Diageo. Welcome to the podcast, sir. We are thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be part of this.
Okay, so to begin with, FP&A is a term that many students hear but are not truly aware of its meaning. So can you simplify it for our students?
Yeah, simply put, I'll say FP&A is how do you partner with business? How do we partner with commercial teams, marketing, and provide your financial insights? So number crunching is definitely one key aspect, but it goes far beyond that. How are you able to bring life to what you do in terms of insight generation, in terms of advising the business of how you can manage your top line or across all the cost line items, right? So anyone who thrives a bit of uncertainty and most importantly is able to break down in terms of what has happened versus what should happen in terms of what's your vision, mission for the organization, where do you want the organization and the business to kind of lead on, is a perfect recipe for a person who's kind of looking into those kind of roles and profiles.
Okay, so this has helped us a lot because there is no textbook definition and getting a perspective on you will really help the students. So to continue this, you have been working in global organizations for a long time. So as a beginner, what do you think will be a good exposure for students in terms of growth and learning to work in a bigger organization or a smaller organization or mid-sized organization and later on move to a larger one?
I think so. What a person should focus is on the role and enhancing his or her own skills rather than focusing in terms of the size of the organization. That's a sub-product.
Okay.
And what's in our control is how can we ready for the skills that are needed for today, plus how can we be future ready as well, right? Organization happens by chance, and for a lot of us, a lot of times through understanding the organization or through aspirations, you are able to kind of land up in an organization of your choice as well. I'm a firm believer that if you do your job well, you will be extremely successful. People will kind of vouch for you in any setups that you are, whether it's a small size, medium size or large organization, right? For any shape and sizes of the organization, what is required is similar. And I don't feel there is a change in terms of there is a recipe for success for a small organization versus a medium versus a large, right? So that kind of remains as is. And like I mentioned, to reiterate, what we should focus is definitely in terms of our skill, in terms of building our capability and being future ready, with always keeping an eye on external lens to understand what is the market needs, how the industry is kind of evolving, and how can you kind of contribute for the larger growth.
Okay, so one should not be disappointed if they get placed in a smaller or medium organization. This is what you're saying, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's about what difference can you bring to an organization.
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, what I get from your question is someone would be happy to be part of a large organization.
Right.
But it's important that what impact is he or she bringing. I believe it's all about impact, and it's not, like I mentioned, about the size of the organization. Like you say, what's the size of the dog, but the fight that a dog has in its side, right? That's the key aspect which anyone should focus on rather than focusing on the size of the organization.
Okay, so you mentioned about the skills, right? So, what are the top three skills, or maybe some of the skills which differentiate a high performing FP&A professional than an average one?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's not a straight answer. It also differs a lot of times into industry, but few things which can never go wrong is you need to be on top of your financial acumen, very well versed in terms of your concepts, whether it's P&L, whether it is balance sheet. At the same time, well read through in terms of understanding the industry, understanding the larger good is very, very essential for anyone to kind of flare in an FP&A setup. In terms of softer skills, like I mentioned, you have to interact with various folks in the organization, whether it's commercial, whether it's marketing, whether it's supply or even finance. And for that, it's important that how you are able to collaborate well with them. How are you able to kind of partner well with them? How easy are you to work well as well, right? It's a lot of times ease coming across as an easy person is
Right.
significantly easy. And try to understand someone's work so that you can have an empathy and also kind of challenge in the right way, right? So these are the softer skills I'll focus on. But to start with, definitely financial acumen, understanding of P&L, understanding of balance sheet, understanding of the industry that you are kind of working on are few key elements.
Okay, so what I get from it is basically the technical knowledge, which obviously one should have, and also we should focus on the soft skills, which is mostly communication, because we have to deal with the stakeholders in this case, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
with that, a lot of times we do not place a lot of importance. But in FP&A, I think one of the key areas is storytelling.
Right.
Like I mentioned, in terms of what has happened, where do you want to see yourself in the future? That is an art of storytelling.
Right.
Storytelling has it all in terms of one of the very strongest but underrated soft skills, and that is of prime importance and significance as you work with leadership and as you want to have small pitches with them. Not a lot of time you'll have multiple slides to kind of put across your thoughts, but it's precisely your art of storytelling, at times in a smaller, succinct way, or at times it could be in a very elaborate fashion as well.
Okay, so the next question is, with AI coming in picture, how do you think can one stay relevant
See, AI
in
is
this
here.
field or any other field maybe?
Absolutely. So AI is already here.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's on us in terms of how we are able to kind of better utilize AI to do a lot of jobs which probably could be very tactical in nature. And I would definitely use AI towards that. Let's say, for instance, forecasting is one key element for FP&A. AI has a number of kind of things available through which you will be able to kind of ensure that's being done very seamlessly without a lot of man hours, human hours involved in terms of preparing a forecast. I think so. The focus should be more in terms of forward looking. How do you kind of ensure that you are able to have stretch goals? How you are able to kind of improve quarter on quarter, year over year. Now, here is where we need to kind of upskill ourselves, whether it's FP&A or any area, right? What is in our control and what we should focus is being future ready for the skills that are needed. And I believe none of us want to be doing the same role over the years, right?
Right.
So AI, in fact, helps us push us in that direction, that you keep building on your skills, you keep enhancing your skills, and you kind of take up larger roles as you time to move. Things which you've been doing today, I think so AI and ML, you should be able to kind of have that made room for it so that it can be done by them, and then you can kind of move ahead with time with newer jobs, newer skills, newer roles.
Okay, so basically AI is a boon for us, right? This is what
Absolutely.
you
AI,
mean.
AI is a boon, is a very, very normal way for us to kind of look at it. Like I say, it's the right nudge as well. And a lot of times, all of us require that nudge. So AI nudges us in that direction where we actually all of us should be. So it really facilitates us in terms of career choices, in terms of role choices, and where we want to be.
Okay, so, sir, like when we studied, we did not have this much AI or the technology thing, just the basic internet, right? So now the students are mostly dependent on AI for most of the things. So do you think this will actually help them, because they don't have the detailed or the in-depth knowledge that we have? So if AI commits a mistake, maybe, or it's not able to predict the actual result that we want, will these students be able to realize that?
Oh, 100%. Like we spoke about the skills for FP&A.
Hmm.
The core for any finance skill is your technical acumen and your financial acumen, right? And AI is just helping you facilitate or do your day jobs. Now, once you are well versed with financial and technically sound, the results would be in front of you. You'll definitely be able to make sense, right? Whether that holds true or not. So if you have those, and if, say, for instance, due to wrong input, I would say because of incorrect inputs is what AI might give you an
Right.
incorrect outcome. But like I mentioned, if you know your ground, if you know your, if you wear your technical hat on, you will definitely see that the numbers or anything which is kind of reflecting in terms of story does not make a lot of sense. So your base has always to be there. AI will never be able to replace your base. Otherwise, like you mentioned, that would be a very, it would be a situation where you will just blindly be relying on things and you will not be in a position to understand or challenge. So the basics or the base has to always be there before we kind of get into an environment of using AI or even ML for that matter.
Okay, so the basics have to be there and then the AI. So it is non-negotiable that you should definitely have technical knowledge, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you did have a chance to meet our students and also you did go through our curriculum. So, considering an institute like Imperial, which tries to inculcate all the industry knowledge and the corporate exposure, do you think these institutes can serve as a strong talent pipeline for global companies like Diageo?
I'm 100% certain. The kind of interactions that I've had in the first half, the energy, the knowledge, the enthusiasm with the students have kind of next to none. And I'm 100% certain it's not about an organization. They are kind of working on the right things, which is building their skills, building their knowledge, which is well appreciated across all the organizations. So I for sure, I'm a firm believer that these guys, further sharpening, further honing their skills, are going to be very corporate ready. And there are larger roles, meatier roles awaiting them, and they should definitely be able to excel. At the same time, I'll also kind of take a pause and I mean, Imperial in terms of what it brings in terms of value addition. These interactions, I see a number of industry guest lectures being planned, the case studies. So there is significant investment in these students. And there is a lot of thought. The co-founders are constantly thinking in terms of what should be the curriculum. We've had a discussion on the FP&A curriculum as well. You very clearly kind of carved out what you want them to go through, and you guys are on the right track, right? It's the blend of, at the end of the day, in terms of being aware, textbook driven roles, at the same time having exposure to what are the real time cases in the market, what are the cases, what the industry is going through. The time when we are able to kind of marry to, which is going to happen in a parallel way, I think so that will have the students be very ready for any FP&A roles, whether it is in the manufacturing space, whether it's in the banking space or in the financial services space. So I only see great opportunities for them, and it's on the students in terms of, I do also understand there are so many courses that you guys are offering. So it's a decision that they have to make. What is the next step that they want to take? If it's FP&A, then I think so you guys are in the right hands.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir. The last question is, if a student is aspiring to get a leadership role in the future, not related to FP&A in any field, so what are the habits or the mindset that they should start implementing right now? What can you suggest about that?
See, leadership is a badge. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All of us can be leaders in our own roles as well. You do not have to necessarily lead large organizations. You need not necessarily lead large teams as well. If you take enough ownership, you can be leader in your role as well. And I have always, in fact, encouraged the thought where we become leaders in the roles that we do. That will naturally kind of set you up as you take larger roles of managing a team or managing an organization as well, right? And corporate allows that, to be really honest. You get the autonomy and you could do the role as you wish, and again with full accountability. So leadership stems right from the very day one. It is not something that you could only exhibit those qualities when you are leading a team. And you need to keep working in terms of how do you improve day over day. That's an essence. Keep hearing from people, have empathy, have constant feedbacks with your line managers, with the head of the organizations in terms of what he or she needs to kind of focus on. And communication, right? Important that you open up, you ask the right questions, you get an understanding as well as you keep growing. Because at leadership, it's very important that you hear from everyone. And listening is a skill, right? A lot of times we wait for a chance to talk rather than listen. And hence, it's important that we start listening right from day one and be a leader in whatever roles, whatever capacity that we are kind of hired for a job.
Okay, so what I get from it is basically the basic necessities that you should be able to own it. Whatever responsibility you have, just own it and work towards it. That this is your task,
Absolutely.
right? That's how you become a leader. That's the summary we have, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and practical experience with us. We at Imperial are very glad to have you, sir, and hope to have more such sessions with you. Thank you for your time.
Most welcome. I really had a good time. And it really feels always nice, a blessing to be back to B schools, to be giving back to the students as well. So yeah, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much.
Yeah.